Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How's everything?
Wallah, good. Inshallah, one day we see you under this boat.
At the moment, it's me and Mohsen.
You before me, though. You before me.
Inshallah, everyone prays for me at the back.
Ya Rab, Ya
About
Rab.
15 people. Now, Yasser, I know you from a very young age, because I've known you I think for about 4 years now.
Yeah, 4 years.
How old are you now, by the way?
18.
18. So when you were
MashaAllah.
14,
Yeah.
and you had this fire,
Subhanallah.
burning love for Al Muhammad, and when I see you outside Husseiniya, you're very excited to be at a majlis. Now, in these 4 years, your studies, give me one story of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. I know you've got many,
Yeah.
but give me one that you just say, wow, this is the one that I love.
Well, I love all of them 100%, but one that I remember when I started this journey of seeking knowledge is that I had a lecturer say that Imam Ali alayhi salam during his final days would say, "Ask me before you lose me." And people say it and we all get gassed, like we all get wow, he said that, but does anyone ever think what he meant? Ask me before you lose me. Is that this is the last person to walk on earth that spent this much time with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That was the backbone of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He's the last man on earth to walk on this earth, to have such a relationship with him, spent so much time with him that he can call Rasulullah his father and his brother through the actions and the things they went through. And then I look at Amir al-Mu'mineen and talking to his companion Kumail, and him saying, "Oh Kumail, your hearts are like containers. Your hearts are like containers. Everything, all the knowledge that you get stays in your hearts. That knowledge is greater than wealth. That knowledge guards you, but you need to guard wealth. Or when you spend your wealth, it decreases. But your knowledge increases when you spend and use your knowledge. So how do we get to a stage like this? How? Is by going through and knocking on the door of the knowledge of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's nothing other than Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib.
Make sure you listen to him for 45 minutes.
Yasser is amazing, mashallah. That's a beautiful story that he's chosen. The conversation between Kumail ibn Ziyad and Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayh.
Do you have anything to elaborate on that story?
I think what comes to mind when you think of Kumail, you think obviously of Dua Kumail. But also the line of Amir al-Mu'mineen when, again, this conversation, because a lot of times Kumail would spend with Imam Ali alone time with him. And this is why, sometimes I think why Kumail was not present in Karbala. Because after the martyrdom of Imam Ali alayhi salam, I think some narrations point to him. Ahsant Ammi Abu Amir. Allah yajazik. Some narrations point to Kumail returning back to Yemen. That's why maybe he wasn't in Karbala. And it really upset him because he would spend alone time with Imam Ali. And imagine, and Yasser, that's a beautiful point you touched on, which is a lot of times we forget the gate to the city of the knowledge of Rasulullah is saying Saluni qabla an tafqiduni. Ask me before you lose me. And again, sometimes we listen to these hadiths, these merits. For example, the other day I was listening to or reading into the birth of Imam Ali, and I passed over a point, and then I said, no, this point I'm going to mention it, but I need to elaborate on it. These types of points, and I'll mention the point inshallah later on. When you listen to these stories, these merits of Amir al-Mu'mineen, that's why Rasulullah says, whoever man dhakara fadilatan min fadaili, whoever mentions the fadila of Imam Ali, merit of Imam Ali, and testifies to it, he actually sits down and thinks about it and contemplates about it and says, why did Rasulullah say this? Why did Imam Ali take this action? And the story I want to point to is actually the one with the birth of Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi, because a lot of us know that Fatima bint Asad, this great and pious lady, the mother of Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi, she came towards the Kaaba while she was doing tawaf, and then as she was pregnant, it was time for her to give birth. And she turns to the Kaaba and she says this dua. And again, I read it and then I said, no, this we have to put. She says, oh Allah, I ask you, in some narrations, by all the previous prophets, that you have sent out and the previous scriptures that you have sent out. And I ask you by the covenant, and I believe in the covenant of Ibrahim. Then she says, oh Allah, look, she does tawassul. She says, oh Allah, I ask you to aid me. And what's her tawassul? What's her wasila? Through the janeen that I am carrying. She does tawassul of Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through Amir al-Mu'mineen, before he's even born. Hani'an liman. Give glad tidings to whoever has a dua and he uses Imam Ali as his wasila. Before he's born, and this again I stopped and I said, number one, she's doing tawassul. Number two, she knows the greatness of Ali, that she uses her son that's not even born yet as wasila to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as soon as she said this, that crack opens up for her in the Kaaba, which is still seen till today. May Allah inshallah allow us to go to Hajj or Umrah. You'll see that location, the corner known as the Al-Yamani corner. You'll see there's the crack which they've always tried to cover, because that's where Fatima bint Asad went through and stayed 3 days to give birth to Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi.
Do you know what I really want to witness is actually being at the Kaaba and seeing them try to, you know, take the bricks out and then put new ones in. And I just want to witness it crack again.
Wow.
Inshallah.
That's a very good one.
I think they just put
that
cement
would be
on
a
it, they
dream.
just cover it like that.
Really?
I think they cement it.
they
They don't
cement
actually
it.
take the bricks out.
I just want to see it crack in front of me.
Yeah.
That they put brand new cement on it, fresh, and it cracks again. That would be beautiful. Beautiful to witness.
The birth of Imam Ali alayhi salam is miraculous, and they've tried to cover it in many ways, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's nur will always stay lit no matter what happens, I think.